Hell yeah. Okay, just two dudes hanging out. Yeah, man. Well, thanks for carving out some time to hang out with me.
Oh, yeah. Cheers, dog.
And having me over.
Of course.
Yeah, I don't think I'll need ibuprofen or anything.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's the old girl right there. That's one of them.
Yeah?
One of a few.
I know. I follow them. So you got a bike like at every pad you stay at?
Well, I mean, I'm back and forth between my folks here because since they're always traveling a lot. I'm here a lot, so I ended up keeping one of my bikes here, and then in my garage back home in Whittier, I keep 3.
That's the one I see. Where you got all your poster and all that stuff in the toolboxes.
Yeah.
Very good, cool stuff. Yeah. So since I've gotten out of the military and pursued this entrepreneurship thing, dragging myself through the trenches, I've been watching your photography and I'm a big fan of it. I admire it. And then also your passion for bikes and your support of Steve and Till Death Cycles and all that stuff, and just you're a big part of the community out here, whether you know it or not. I like it, and the support for Espinosa too, because I've purchased their products and I fucking think they're a kick-ass group of dudes.
Yeah, they're the best. That's my That's my second family right there. Well, the guys from Till Death and Espinosa's, like I said, those are my dudes. Those are my family. And those guys, I'll do anything for. And they know that I'm down for whatever with them. Like, that's me. I'm a very loyal person. I mean, if you're loyal to me, I'm loyal to you through and through.
Yeah. I appreciate that. With the photography stuff, that was kind of my focus. That we could talk about whatever. But,
yeah.
How do you get into all that?
Well, I mean, just over the years, you start. I mean, just like everybody else, once your camera phone.
Okay.
And then you just started snapping away with your camera phone, and then I'm like, let me. And then from there, I wanted, started getting a little better with the camera stuff, and then like on the phone. And then I said, you know what, I wanted to upgrade to something. And me not knowing much, I ended up buying a kit from Sam's or Costco. I bought the Canon, just regular kit, thinking, all right.
It came with like lenses and stuff?
Yeah, it came with the lens. I mean, I didn't know much about it, and it was like, it was like $900. I figured this is the stuff that all the top pros use.
900 and what, 10 years ago money?
It was like 900, like.
Yeah, I mean, that's still
600, like 6 years ago?
Okay.
6, 7 years ago?
Still expensive.
I would say 2017 is probably. I've had the camera. It was like 900, but it come with everything. It's just one of those that they had at Sam's. And I figured, I don't know anything about cameras, and I just figured, I saw Canon. I've always heard of Canon. And then I picked that up thinking that this is everything I have. This is all the pros use, and that's it. I have the best of the best, and I should be good. And then far, far, far from it. Once I started, so I had the camera for a while, but just on auto and just with still snapshots, and I didn't really take it serious for like another year. Say right around 2018 is when I started, and when before Till Death Track or Die, like they hired a photographer, and I started picking his brain. His name is Hector Torres, good dude. You guys should check him out. He does a lot of stuff for Sullen Clothing. He's a pretty well known guy in the photography world right now, and yeah, he showed me a lot of tips and tricks, and then I started taking it a lot more serious from there, and then just pretty quick I outgrew that camera and setup, so I ended up selling it to you probably know Rocco, right? Rocco, Cylind Rocco.
I don't think so.
He's that guy's huge. He's everywhere. But yeah, he ended up buying the camera. I sold it to him, gave him a good deal. I try to give all my homies the best deals I can. And then I bought myself my first full frame, which I found a good deal on eBay because now I knew the difference between crop, full.
All right, I gotta cut you off. What? Just so you can dumb it down for me. What was holding you back with the other setup?
Well, the lenses.
Or the capability of the camera.
Yeah, the capability of the camera. And then it being, don't get me wrong, they're great. I mean, if I were to invest into the lenses, into that body kit and setup, I'm sure I could have got some really good stuff. But with the crop sensor, so everything's based off of a full frame, which originally was as a 35 millimeter film. So everything's been based on that setup. So then that's full frame. So let's say if you were to get a 50 millimeter lens on a 35 millimeter full frame camera, it'll be 50 millimeters. But on a crop sensor camera, you're cropped in it's a smaller sensor, so you're looking at it's like 1.7 times zoomed in. So technically, you have.
Man, I'm trying to keep up. The crop sensor affects the zoom.
Well, it's because since it's smaller.
Okay.
And from what I know, I mean, there's still a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I read all into it, but I don't know. I'm not the know all be all of it. But from what I understand is, from the smaller sensor and with all the settings, it's everything that you put on that's equivalent to the 35 millimeter. It's cropped in. That's why it's crop sensor. It's 1.7 times on a Canon. There are some cameras that are 1.6 crop, depending on, like on a Sony or a Nikon, 1.8 crop, but right around the 1.7 is where it's at. So then, you got, smaller sensors, smaller pixels. I mean, less pixels. So, like for bigger shots, that's why, you can even go, and a lot of people don't shoot it, but there's even medium format, which has a bigger sensor. And those guys, like, you could use those cameras to like shoot like 105 megapixel photos, and those are the ones that you'll see. They could blow them up on the side of a building, and it looks like crystal clear.
Got it. But for like general, like the rest of us, we don't.
Right. Even with you can get away with the full frame too. You can get, because they have some high megapixel full frame cameras, and like I shoot right now. I'm shooting a Canon R5, and that one's 45 megapixels.
So you're still Team Canon.
Oh yeah. I've got, the thing is too, is once you start investing into the lenses, they're pretty proprietary. They do sell adapters for different cameras, but then they don't function as well.
The adapters, these go in the end?
Right.
The lens?
Well, the adapter, so let's say if I wanted to shoot my Canon camera, my lens, one of my Canon lenses onto a Sony,
okay,
I'd have to buy an adapter.
Oh, I get what you're saying. They
for
won't
a Sony
link up.
mount.
Okay, and then it still will only work kind of okay?
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't give you the full capability.
Got it.
And unless I get a Sony native lens.
Yep.
And then there's third-party people that make, because some of these lenses, I've seen lenses that range, let's say for a full frame camera. I'm sure you've seen like the photographer, those guys that carry lenses that are
I've seen the crazy ones.
Yeah, like this
National
big and
Geographic and stuff.
Those are $15,000-$20,000 lenses.
Crazy.
Just for the lens.
And is that's for distance?
Yeah, for distance.
Okay.
So because we don't do really a digital zoom, so this is all optical, so it's all in the lens.
Yes.
So that's how you're able to, like, if you want to get, let's say, you want to get a really blurred out background, you could do like I know they have like a 500 millimeter like f4. If you can shoot a bird that far, it looks like it's right in front of you, and the whole background's completely blown out if you want it to.
Wild.
Like if you set up your aperture, that's the blades in your camera. That's the blades that are inside. That's how much light is let in. So of course, the higher the aperture, the more in focus everything will be. And of course, the lower the aperture, which allows more light to come in, it allows things to be more blurry in the back. But you also have to have separation in your subject.
Okay.
So let's say if I wanted to shoot you right here, with the 50 millimeter, I could shoot you at 1.2, which is probably the pro lens. That's the lowest it goes. From right here, like your whole face, even maybe your nose would even be out of focus. But if I focus on your eyeball, that would be in focus. But then the whole background. But let's say right here, same spot, and if I shoot it, let's say at f11, so from 1.8 to 11, then everything, even the whole background, would be in focus.
Crazy.
Yeah, so it's just, there's a whole bunch to it.
I'm digesting everything you just said. It's you know more than you think you know.
I don't know. I'm not taught in this.
Yeah.
I didn't go to school for it.
YouTube Academy?
Yeah, YouTube University.
Okay,
right here.
YouTube University.
I've learned everything. There's a guy I follow on Instagram, is Jared Polin. He's the one that I pretty much followed the most. It's called Jared Polin. There's pretty much him. There's a few other guys. I think it's Manny Ortiz, and a couple other famous YouTube photographers that reviews and started learning setups and what to do. Start playing with Lightroom. I'm still not I'm far from the best. I know some Photoshop, but I've barely scratched the surface. I know how to and I can delete some stuff, change backgrounds, just some basic stuff, maybe clean up clean up faces a little bit, but nothing
Yeah.
super crazy.
Yeah, I got into it a little bit about, when our mutual friend Matt, I got into a little bit because he was into it, and I was like, man, I want cool shots of like my toys, and I was active duty at the time, so I was going all over the place. So I think about whatever he told me to buy. I bought like a used Nikon off eBay, and I didn't stick with it. I gave it like 8 months. I was like, this is hard. Lenses are expensive. I had no idea. So then it collected dust, and eventually I sold it. But now coming back to real estate, I find myself like kind of forced to make goofy content, and I've gotten better at editing and stuff, and using, I'm not doing maybe your level of editing. I'm doing a lot of videos and whatnot, but it is interesting. And now I'm like more comfortable doing podcasts and stuff. This is just for me, not even for real estate or anything,
and that's the thing, and
you
I
learn a lot.
Yeah, and I suck at video.
Yeah,
like I'm horrible. Like that's why if you notice on my IG, like I don't even have a YouTube. People say, "Why don't you make a YouTube?" It's like I'm not good at video.
Yeah,
like, I struggle with it, just slowing it down and
sure.
the B-roll and things like that. I know.
Outsource it. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a lot of
true.
work.
And then
filming's the easy part.
Yeah, and then so I've been thinking of doing that. I mean, I have my camera set up. I have some pretty nice GoPro set up, but I mean, I have practiced at it, and I do have Premiere, and I have put some decent videos together. Nothing too crazy, but there's a couple videos I'm kind of proud of that I've done, but
yeah,
it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm just doing cell phone stuff, and it's a lot of work.
Now imagine
I've messed projects up, and just 4 hours of editing down the drain. I have to restart.
Now imagine when you have like a big full frame camera, with like 45 megapixels of those file sizes.
Yep. Yeah, that's a whole thing I'm learning too. I mean, like, again, I'm just taking cell phone videos, but it's like I'm tapping out my cell phone storage. My MacBook's good for now, but I do use an external hard drive.
Yeah,
for all your stuff.
I have a 10 gig right now, and then my computer I have 4, and then my laptop I have 4
terabytes.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, so I set gigs on. Yeah, I have a 10 terabyte hard drive, and then I have 10 terabyte hard drive. My desktop has 4 terabytes, and then so does my laptop.
Nice. Are you getting like good at the organization, making the folders and stuff? And
yeah, I mean,
this year, this month, these people, this trip, part 2, part 3.
Yeah, that's what I do, and then you just pretty much type in like what I do is I'll type the name or the event, and then just the date.
Yep.
And then I mean that's pretty much
That's pretty simple.
So like what I did when I shot photos for Kernbro Campout, because I shoot photos for them, and I've shot photos for Biltwell. I've shot photos for SNS Cycles, Santa Bluetooth. They've hit me up in the past for some work. I mean, and a couple of stuff for our buddy. I have a buddy Zach from Hoonigans.
Mm-hmm.
I've shot a
Nice.
couple of Hoonigan things that I've shot for them when they did their sport, the sporty, they did their flat track sport.
Okay, yeah.
So I was, I got some photos of that stuff with them, and pretty cool dudes, and but for the most part, just like right now, the whole industry's kind of weird with photography because everybody wants video. Everybody wants reels, and people don't want.
Yeah, the reels is the short attention span stuff is trending.
So it's like, I mean, I don't really push my photography as much as anymore because a lot of people don't want to see it anymore. So it's just, I mean, I've been trying to find more motivation to do more creative things. I've been thinking about some long exposure stuff with the bikes that I got in the pipeline thinking about doing.
What was long exposure, like long form?
No, long exposure is, so let's say, have you seen how they've done like light drawing, like where they take...
Oh, yes. Yeah, I've seen you post maybe like 1 or 2 of those.
Yeah, I've done a couple of them in the past.
I understand what you're saying, yeah.
So, but maybe I could take that to another level.
How would you apply that to motorcycles, though?
So I could do it with the bike. Let's say, you can get like a cool at night, like just... that would be more like photo stacking. So you take a perfectly exposed picture of your bike, and then you can even wait till like nighttime or when it gets darker in the middle of the night. You can, get the Milky Way galaxy, and then you take a long exposure so you can see everything, and then you can like draw lighting and do some crazy, like
hell yeah,
maybe some, you can even make it look like it's going through a portal or something that it's like just. Or it's looking in a mirror or something like that.
Yeah, you're getting me excited. I'm trying to keep my train of thought because I had some questions about the companies you were doing Photoshop or photos for, but also I guess on the topic of what did you just call that?
Long exposure.
Long
photography.
exposure. So your cameras are quality enough that you can pick up stars.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Well, not
you have
like
to go somewhere without light pollution.
right. I
Yeah.
mean, you can. I mean, it's not that I have the camera like because I mean, if I really needed, I'd have to buy a star tracker.
Okay.
To where like because it'll follow the curve. Because if you were to literally just point it up in the sky and you leave the shutter open, I mean, all you're gonna see is a line. You're not even gonna see a star. Because what happens is the Earth is always rotating.
Yep.
So I mean, any movement and it's out of focus or whatever the line is. So they have star trackers where you mount your camera to on a tripod and it actually follows the curvature of the Earth. So that way everything. So you can literally hold it for 5 minutes and then you can suck in as much light from as far away as possible.
But then you'd be buying a whole new set of equipment.
Yeah, and that's like
whole,
I mean, but you can
bag.
Yeah, you can do some pretty long exposure stuff where you're holding it. You hold it open for like 5 seconds, and you can get some pretty cool things. I mean, you can do quite a bit of light painting in 5 seconds if you're pretty quick at it.
Okay, projects for the future, perhaps.
Yeah. So I mean, that's like more artsy stuff because like what I've noticed now is people don't want photos anymore for things. Maybe product shots.
Yep.
But like that's about it. I mean, I've done a lot of product shots too. I mean, I have my big photo box, but like same thing. Like,
man, that pains me to hear you say that because I mean, again, I'm working around houses and stuff, and it's like I see it all day. It's like, what do you mean people don't want photos? But yeah, I suppose around the goods and the motorcycle industry is people want their 30-second lizard brain reels so they can. You know.
So I mean, like I would say, I mean, photography. Like during the whole coronavirus stuff, that was there was a lot of photography going on, and I was able to get out there, especially with how empty all the city was, and a lot of people wanted photos then, but like right now everybody wants reels.
Okay.
So and that's the thing, and it's just like, so I haven't really been shooting as much, and it's I kind of got a little jaded with it, but I'm slowly coming. Like today, I shot this weekend at my. Like I said, like my boys, like they take care of me, Steve and the guys over there. Like I shot all their stuff and I had fun with it. We had a good time.
Hell yeah.
So I mean, I haven't stopped. It's just I've slowed it down a little bit, but I gotta like figure out. I'm just kind of like thinking about like where I want to take it next. You know what I mean? Just like
a pause.
Not a pause. Yeah, a little bit of a pause, but I have to like I'm just been brainstorming like, well, what would be the next? Would it be the next thing, or what's gonna hit, or like, or sometimes I just gotta remind myself, hey, if nobody wants it, like I do it for me because I enjoy photography. I can't.
Don't ever lose that. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do with some of my projects right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, am I chasing the dollar, or am I just, am I doing it for me? And that's why I'm trying to do more motorcycle stuff on my podcast. And
yeah, so I've been having that question. I've been questioning myself a lot with that. It's like, there's some days, or I've even been like, maybe I should sell everything, and then there's something like, no, but I enjoy photography. Yeah. And I need to I gotta tell myself sometimes like I gotta do it for me. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've even I busted all my lights set up again. Been messing around a little bit in the garage, just trying different things. I have to like push it a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, so what was your other question about like with the?
So obviously you're good buddies with a lot of businesses you do photography for, but. When you were first starting out, were you reaching out to these people offering your free services, or did you just pick up momentum and they noticed and they're like, hey, Eric, can you do photos for us? Or how does that work? Do you charge by the hour and you're like advertising to big names?
The way that I started, I mean, also, with having the bikes, what I would do is I'd get photos and then I would tag all these companies. Mm-hmm. I mean, I tag everybody that, under the sun on the bikes and then, some people would reach out. Some people are just people that I know in the industry just from over the years. And, they're like, hey, well, come, like a lot of times, which works out too, is a lot of times people are willing to do trade work. Which, I mean, because a lot of people don't want to give up that dollar. Sure. They don't want to give up that dollars, but it's a lot of time. But it's people that work in the company, they'd be like, well, I can't give you a set amount of money, but how about I'll trade you this, and this parts for your bike, and you just shoot the photos. I'm like, well, hell yeah, because I was going to go buy those parts anyways. So. Yeah. So then this works out. And win-win. Yeah, sometimes it even works out better in my favor because it's the parts they end up sending me cost way more than what I was going to charge.
Yeah, parts.
But it's easier for the companies because they already have the products, and they just have it. Sometimes they just, they have it right there in a warehouse or whatever. And so, I mean, but like I said, I try to take care of the people that take care of me. I've always been like that since day one. Like my closest people, I always take care of the best.
Yeah, relationships are everything.
Yeah, and then I'm real quick I do my best with editing. I hate sitting on like there's people out there that they'll sit on projects for like a month or so, and then they get a backlog, and then they're sitting there for 2-3 days, like a week straight, just editing every day.
Yeah,
and I'm all like, nah. I like to, as soon as I get home, like maybe take that night. I mean, if it's just a little bit, I'll get them done the same day. Just because I say if it's like 100 photos that I shot, and like I can knock those out.
You can knock those out quick?
I can knock out 100.
What kind of, when it comes to like, I don't know, if we went up to the mountains and it was like a photo of me hiking, like what kind of editing are you doing?
Well, if we're gonna do, like, okay, we're set up to go at it. You're going hiking. Now it all depends. Let's say if we're just gonna do little quick stuff, like just to look like you're hiking, or if we're actually hiking, then that's a different thing.
Okay, yeah.
But let's say if we're just getting some like lifestyle shots of just maybe we'll hit like a little trail or something. We're up there for a couple hours and come back down. Let's say I'll probably shoot like maybe about 200 or so, 200-300 shots. And from those 300, I'll maybe get like 40, 50, maybe 30, 40. And I'm not the type of photographers like, oh, well, I'm going to charge you $500 for 15 shots. Like, nah, like, what am I going to do with them? Like, I'll charge you that and I'll give you the photos. Like, here's, like, you're going to use them. They're your photos. What am I going to do? Like, just for them to go to waste? I'll give you whatever, of course, if there are a lot of the same shots, those I don't give. But let's say if everything's in focus, I'll just go ahead and edit what I got and just send you what I have.
But as far as the editing, like what are you getting out, like inconsistencies with light or like I don't know. Like when it's on the computer, what are you doing? Well,
on the computer, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for if it's in first thing I always look for if it's in focus.
Okay.
If if the camera didn't back focus, which means like let's say if I'm trying to shoot Colin here and then it actually focus on something behind him, that's back focus.
So just delete at that point.
No, I don't delete them. It's just I import everything and then okay, so then I move on to the next one to make sure it didn't front focus or something. Let's say if I was shooting his face and something in front of him took the focus. Mm-hmm. I mean, cameras are pretty good nowadays, but it's it still happens because I shoot full manual. I don't do aperture because they have different modes. I go 100% full manual. So I'm constantly sitting there changing settings and then making sure too, like, because if we're doing more adventure stuff like that, the lighting's constantly changing, the shade, all that. So you're constantly making adjustments. So I'm watching to see where, which sometimes even it can be the same photo, but the lighting's better in another photo. And then once I decide, all right, cool, now that photo, then I sit there and then, if it's a product, I go in there, clean it up. If it's a person, then I run it through Photoshop as well. Make sure like if people have zits on their face, little things like that. Small imperfections, I'll edit those out. A lot of people too, they'll want like, oh, can you make me skinny? Can you make me bigger? And like, nah.
You're like, no, I can't do all that.
I mean, I could, but I'm not trying to spend an hour on one photo. I mean, that's just.
Sure.
That's like.
A bit overkill.
Yeah, that's over. When you got to edit like 200 photos, it's like people want a lot. I mean, it can be done in Photoshop. There's so many things. Like, I'm not that good at Photoshop, but like, what I'll do is, I've learned enough to where I can clean up people's faces and remove certain objects, like out of pictures, backgrounds, things like that. And then now with the new AI tools that these editing softwares have, it's just it's dumbed it down for me a little more, so it makes it easier.
On that topic, how do you feel about AI? Do you feel like it's gonna
for
ruining the industry, or
no,
it's pretty powerful?
Yeah, it's powerful. Like for me, it's made me a better editor because, especially with the AI in Photoshop. I can literally tell it, all right, do this, and it'll look at the image. And since I have a full RAW file, which is on a camera, you can go RAW, which gives you, like, when it saves as much data as possible versus a JPEG or a HIV file that's in an iPhone. Which HIV files are better than JPEGs; they contain more information. But the RAW file is exactly what it is. It's a full RAW file, and the entire picture not dumbed down. So when you run it through Photoshop, it sees all the information. And then you could be like, remove this object with the new AI tools. You just use a lasso tool and circle it, and then remove this object and remove it. Or it's like, hey, change this to change the settings to this, and it'll change it. So it's making it better. It's making it easier, but yeah, but at the same time too, my biggest thing is more like cell phones. They're just getting really good.
They are.
And that's just what it is. It's the cell phones are getting really good, and then same thing like people I could post something that I shot with my cell phone. That's a dumb little thing, and it ends up getting more likes.
Doesn't that hurt?
Yeah.
Doesn't that hurt? I've had the same thing where it's like, not necessarily photography, but I work so hard on a reel talking about like some, dirt bike racer dude, and it gets whatever. And then I repost something stupid about GTA, and it gets a bunch of views.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing with the AI, and then there's a lot of good apps now with AI. I mean, I use them on my phone. And so that's why, too, and a lot of times, like with these new iPhones, they take really good pictures, and then here's the thing: when you post them on social media, they compress them down. So, I mean, the pro photo, it looks a little better, but it doesn't look that much better because you're looking at it already compressed when it's posted to social media.
So the pro photos are compressed to social media, so then it's like
because it has to be sized down to fit in their app. So that's just what it is. Like I just had a photo that was reposted by Harley Davidson, like officially, and it was a photo that I shot on my iPhone. I shot it on my iPhone. Mm-hmm. It was me and you know Manny, right? Taxman. No. He's always with me.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure you know. I'm sure you know.
You meet a lot of people at the meetups.
Club Style USA.
I do know Club Style USA.
Yeah, him.
Okay.
That's what they call it. His name's Manny.
Okay.
So we're always riding together. He's like that's my partner in crime. We do everything.
Oh yeah.
And I shot this really dope photo. He's like, you know what? We left Kernville camp out. We always like to leave early. We're not sleeping. I like to get up like as the sun coming up. And I said, all right, cool. We rode around the Lake Isabella, and then we got on the 178, and the sun was coming up, and it was hitting the mountains and the lake perfect. And I said, we just literally parked it in the middle of the road. It was 6 a.m. Nobody's out. I just got my iPhone and just shot a whole bunch of photos. I mean, I still run it through I have Lightroom and all that on my phone. Mm-hmm. So I run it through there, make it nice, clean it up as much as I can. And I posted it, and it got a lot of likes, and Harley Corporate reached out to me and said if I could email that photo, if they can use it, and they were going to post it worldwide. Like even on all of their, from the different.
You like that one, huh?
Yeah.
What's that email look like?
No, it was, it's like, hey, I'm so-and-so from Harley Davidson Marketing. We really love your photo. We would love to use it for to post it on social media, and then we'll also post it worldwide on all our different like Harley Davidson Australia official.
Oh hell yeah! Yeah, wow.
Harley Davidson England, like from all the country ones.
They really liked, man. They really liked that one, huh?
Yeah, because it was and then it got reposted a whole bunch. Like all of again, they said, all right, like. We'll give you photo credit and everything, and then they even said, can you tag my buddy Manny, the taxman? He's oh yeah, we'll do that too. It's his bike. That's it, because it's his ST in my Road Glide.
Yes.
And and they posted it, and they got a lot of love. And then all of a sudden you see another tag, and it's from Club Style. I mean, and it's from Harley Davidson Brazil, and then I get another tag. It's from Harley Davidson Australia, and it's another tag. I'm like New Zealand. I'm like, oh, that's what he meant global. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
but it was back to it. But I shot that with my phone.
Yeah,
and
like you're proud, but also like, man, that kind of hurts.
No, a little bit.
iPhone beat,
yeah, but a lot of times too. There's an old saying: the best camera is the one you have on you.
Is the one you have, yeah.
So I'm not gonna sit there and pull out my. So a lot of times too, especially when you're on the road like that.
Sure. I'm
not gonna sit out there, pull out my bag, take everything out from my saddlebag, pull my camera out, attach the lens, attach the batteries. Put my, by the time I do all that, it's just like.
Yeah, you guys are out in the middle of the road too.
Yeah, and you're on the road, it's like, to do all that. I mean, it takes me And even fast, it takes me like about 5 minutes to to do everything. But because I started carrying it when I was riding, but then that was like from a while ago. Like the missus was like, that's like the one thing where she never tells me nothing, but she's like, please don't do that because I don't want you to one day, and then not something you're like taking a photo while you're riding, and then boom, something happens. So I made her that promise I wouldn't do that.
Yep.
But besides, because
you don't want to hurt the camera either if you have that thing dangling on you. While you get some road debris, one little pebble.
Yeah, because those lenses,
fucking there goes $15,000.
Yeah, that's because the lens I mainly shoot lens is about $2,000 just for the lens.
Yeah.
And then like that whole setup. And there's a thing too. It's like the whole setup. It's like $6,000-$7,000 for that one setup, and that doesn't include other lenses. And then to shoot with your iPhone, and that gets.
Well, that's how it goes sometimes. Hey man, you got the credit. That's cool.
Yeah.
Should have been like, can I get a free T-shirt? Like,
oh yeah. I mean, at that point, it's it was cool. I mean, they got like 20,000 likes, and freaking it was like 200 comments. It was pretty cool. I mean, it felt good. But it's to the point now, we've done Instagram so long. I mean, I just posted and
it goes where it goes.
Yeah, it goes where it goes now. Like, I'm not chasing that. I mean, for a while, everybody wants to, go viral and chase that, get Instagram famous. But it's to the point where, like, it's not real life.
Yeah, well, I know it affected me when I was younger a lot too. Like, just caught up in the matrix, wanting that little tag. And
I mean, don't get me wrong. We still want it, but it's just not. It's not as pronounced. I mean, it'd be cool if it happened one day, but if not, then whatever. I mean, that's not real life. We're getting older, and it's more about doing more life experience stuff. Yeah, having a good time. That's why too. That's why I stick with the. Like I ride a lot. I mean, I try to at least, and then because if it's not this, I also have horses too. So I'm always on doing something.
Dude, you are the ultimate rider.
I try. I mean, I grew up on motorcycles and horses my whole life. So that's what I've stuck to. And then photography came up. I've always liked taking pictures.
Do you do photography with the horses?
I've never.
Interesting.
I never have. I mean, I've
been
wanting
to change that.
Maybe I've been thinking of maybe going to some events because I grew up.
They're everywhere down here.
Yeah. But I grew up training horses. I used to compete too with the horses, and I grew up training horses with my dad and all of his friends, and I've learned quite a bit. Raising horses too. We raised a whole bunch of horses. So, but it's just never like I keep thinking about it. I keep telling myself one day I just gotta drive out to one of the events and just bring my camera.
But that'd be more so like if you're going to the event anyways. Yeah. Not forcing it. Like if, because I see you attend some events you enjoy. Yeah. Just bring the camera along.
Yeah, and I do. But sometimes too is like, a lot of that stuff's real protected because you have to like, in that world, there's a lot of, like, if you're going to events, you can't bring in a camera unless you're media.
Unless you're media.
Yeah, and then
you got to have the blessing.
Yeah, okay. So it's just like,
different world.
Yeah, it's a different world. Like this, you go to whatever bike net or whatever people, they're always welcoming, for especially because for them it's free exposure. Yep, and that's what they like.
You mentioned you did the photo shoot this evening with Steve and that whole shop.
Mm-hmm.
I've been following, his shop. Big fan of Steve and all that, and the goofy little like holiday posts and stuff. The distinct difference between old Tracker Guy and Still Dust Cycles. Yeah. I like what he's putting out. It cracks me up. Like I smile every time. I see some of the things they make.
So most of those reels were actually filmed by. There's another friend of mine. Her name is Bree. Okay. She's Miss Breeze. Miss Bree. She does a lot of photography. She's a model, real pretty girl. She does really good stuff. She's been getting real heavy into the scene here recently, and she does good work, and she makes some decent reels.
Hell yeah!
So they shot those reels. Most of the photos that they post are my photos. Okay. Or it's like a lot of times I'll repost it. I mean, or I'll post it and then just a collab. Just invite them in a collab because Steve's not really a tech guy at all. Mm-hmm. He's really old school. Like, so it's easier for him to just hit. Because like I'm the one that's on him. Hey, post. Hey, do this. Hey, do a reel. Do a story. Like you're building yourself back up. Yep. I mean, you have the people, but now you're building the whole Instagram and all that back up. So you have to like stay active, so that way people know.
It's a whole job in itself. Again, not to beat the dead horse, but yeah, the real estate stuff was like I had to learn how to do that. Then I also had to learn, marketing. I'm like, fuck, dude, I have to like schedule posts and reply to people, and it's kind of exhausting. So, more power to him if he can just have you help out.
Yeah, I mean, I do what I can, but a lot of times it's just like, he's like from the whole Tracker Dies days, it's just like his old partner was the one that took care of all that stuff.
Yep.
So, because he just, he's like very old school. I mean, he's very hands-on, and he likes to be in the shop working.
Good. That's what he's good at.
Yeah, and that's what he's good at. That's what he loves. That's where his passion's at. He's not one to be on his phone and to do stuff. He wants to fabricate, because that's where he comes from. He's a fabricator first, and then he's everything else. Like, I mean, he's been doing it 20 years now.
Oh shit!
Like, he's straight out of high school, and like he's worked at Harley. He worked for West Coast Choppers when it was here.
I think I caught that. I was listening to Fast Life and he talked about it.
Yeah, he worked for West Coast Choppers more towards the tail end of it, but he was still there when Jesse was with Sandra Bullock.
Yep.
Like, so he worked there, and so I mean, he's actually worked on a lot of bikes. Like Jesse actually, from what I've heard, like he knows who he is, because he has Steve has one of his customers that he owns a whole bunch of actual West Coast Choppers bikes, and he has a few that Jesse wants back. Like that Jesse, like he sold everything, but eventually he wants something back. And
yeah, nostalgia.
Yeah, and then Jesse's reached out to this customer. I think he said he had like 13 of his bikes.
Interesting.
But then, I mean, Steve's worked on them, and it's even, from what I remember, but we've had this conversation a long time ago. He says, like Jesse had this conversation with that customer, and was all like, well, you have all these bikes, who's working on them, or who's keeping them up? You don't want them to go to waste, just sell them to me, Jesse talking.
Yeah.
He's like, well,
wink.
Yep. He's like, well, I have a friend who used to work for you. He's, oh yeah, just like Steve Blaylock, and he's all like, oh yeah. He's like, he'll take care
Fair
of it.
enough.
Yeah, like there's no arguing with
Can't
that.
argue with that.
Yeah, so it's like,
well, good for him, dude. He's got notoriety. Fucking Steve holds his own.
I mean, he goes anywhere in the country, people know. Like, solid dude. I say that's one of my closest friends.
I was telling my good friends, even when I used to go to the bike meetups, I'd stop by the tent and say hi. I'm not sure if he recognized me, but he would act like he recognized me.
Yeah,
and I was like, thanks. Good to see you too. Like,
yeah, that's who he is as a person. Even if he doesn't, it's just in this industry, you have to be people person. You got to be, just like I said, like real estate. You got to pretend, You have to put on a show and dance, but he's a very solid dude. Like, he's very genuine, and he's very real old school. Like, if he goes out of the way to help a lot of people, like even if it's not deserved or it's not, like, because he comes from that old school Harley world.
Yep.
Where, like, if somebody needs help, you got to be out there and you do what you can.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about this community, because I've found myself in some fucking, really shitty spots out in the middle of nowhere, and some people have helped me out.
Yeah, that's
and they were people, old timer, I never thought like they would even fucking look twice, but they pulled over and helped me out.
Yeah, what was it? I was in Reno when this one, because this one's running a dry primary, so it's got a belt.
You have a belt in there. Did you convert to that, or?
Yeah, I did that a long time ago.
And that was the move.
Because I got tired of the leaky primary.
Yeah.
And then also I did one thing that I didn't realize, it actually raises, because I have the BDL kit in there, and it raises the gear ratio.
Interesting.
So it actually raises it to what's current now. So it makes every gear longer. So that means your top speed is
so now you
higher.
have a nice long 5-speed.
But this one's a 6-speed now.
Oh, okay.
But even on my other FXR, on my RT, one's a 5-speed. And I chain drived it, and then I also did the belt on it, and with that setup, I can cruise, and that's an original 5-speed on the 80-inch, and I can cruise 85 miles an hour at like 3,500 RPMs. Just
not too bad at all.
Yeah, it's just humming. The motor's humming along. Yeah. And I've done it. I mean, I've had that bike all up and down the West Coast.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I love that. Before I get sidetracked, what'd you guys shoot tonight, if you can say?
Well, it was the stuff that I didn't shoot today. I just finished editing. It was from
Okay.
They had a big Christmas party for that was a toy drive at the shop this weekend on Saturday. So I shot all the photos for there. So I just literally a couple hours ago I sent them all the photos.
Okay.
So they're starting to post a few of them. But yeah, just it was more more a fun shoot. Like I said, like I haven't really been pushing for like customer stuff lately. So like I said, I always take care of my friends and family. Like Espinosa's. I love those are my brothers. Freaking like I said, Steve and all them guys. Those are my brothers.
How did the relationship start with them? Do you know them prior to photography? And all
Well,
that?
actually, yeah, I knew them prior to photography. I mean, same thing. Like when you get into the bike world, if you don't got an Espinosa vest, like
Who are you?
yeah, who are you? So everybody wants an Espinosa. So I forgot my bike, and I started going to the shop. Turns out that the owner's son, we have the same name, and we even spell it the same. Eric, with the C. A lot of people are with the, with the K or a CK.
I see the CK. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just a C. So then we just started, chit chatting, and little by little, he's like I said, he's a very friendly guy, very personable dude. He loves to take care of people, and so we started chit chatting, and then it got to the point where I got my first vest, and then I started going to the shop just here and there just to say what's up, hang out, and little by little, just started hanging out more and more. And one day, like this is already years later, after I got into photography, I was still pretty fresh. I was maybe like 7-8 months, like serious photography, and I showed up just to, just to bullshit, just to hang out. And they had 2 models there that they were gonna shoot, and their photographer bailed last minute. So they had people there they had a couple guys there with some like I think it was a 3/4 like a baseball tee style leather cut and a couple other things, and they just like, Harry, you're up, and they handed me their
like
camera.
that.
Yeah, they handed me their camera, which I don't know anything about Nikon, but once you know aperture, there's three things you have to know. You got to know light, your aperture setting, and your light aperture, and then your ISO. And once you get those 3 things, that's your base. Those 3 things is what it's universal in photography.
Yep.
But now the settings, like which button to change all that.
Per brand.
Yeah, it's per brand and all that stuff. So I just did I went on YouTube and all right, cool, which is literally like
Right there at the shop.
Yeah, I never shot a Nikon before, so I don't even know which button does what. But I shot some photos, and they're actually, and they have a little kit camera. I mean, it's like well back then it was like like a $700-800 camera. And then I did the best I could with that, and they were really happy with them. And they said, from that day forward, said, "You're our guy."
Just like that. Wow, son of a bitch, got yourself a job.
And then over the years, and then from there, more photos. I was going weekly and doing a lot of product stuff for them. And then started doing events, and then it got to the point where I knew the product pretty well myself, and I could actually. That turned into helping them do sales. So I literally have my camera on the side of me selling vests.
Yeah.
And doing all that, and then like once so I was doing both. You just vests and helping sales. And yeah, I mean, they like I said, those are my brothers. I take care of whatever they need, but just right now they're things have been a little slow with them. With me, and it's just but I'm sure I'm hoping once things
Do you think this is like affecting other parts of the motorcycle industry or the economy in general? Because I'm feeling this everywhere. I'm feeling it in real estate, motorcycles.
Yeah. Because I'm a truck driver by trade. That's what I do. I'm a truck driver, and I hear it everywhere. I mean, I've had a lot of friends that they've actually reached out to me looking for work, and if I can get them in, and I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's a little scary because it's people that I was looking up to, and they're struggling, and it's just like luckily, we've been staying kind of busy, but then I'm always thinking like, what happens? But this is our busy season. What's gonna happen during the slow season?
Yep.
So I mean that's been a little nerve wracking. So that's why another reason too. I've been thinking, like to push my photography a little bit more, and then see what else I can do, because truck driving is just getting. I've been doing truck driving since high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been doing it, my whole life, and it's getting harder and harder. And there's, especially in California. California has
I've heard about it, man.
the
I've
worst
heard about it.
regulations out of any state.
I have a good friend. I did another episode, not to get on a whole tangent. He does the hot shot truck and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen that. I know all about that too.
Yeah,
I've done it all.
And he's like, Anyways, it's not easy on him.
And then that's a cutthroat world.
From what he says, yes.
Because the same thing in that world. I mean, you guys got there's only so much freight, and then those guys are underbidding themselves so bad that they're not even really making anything. They're just hauling the freight for free.
Yeah, barely breaking even.
Yeah, so it's just like, and that's the thing too. And then you have all of these brokers that are just driving these prices down. And it is what it is. I mean, luckily, we got a pretty decent account right now, and so I do everything that I can to make them happy, because anywhere else it sucks right now.
Yep.
So I mean, luckily, we're staying busy, so gotta knock on wood that's what it is. But for the most part, just riding the bikes, doing photography, taking care of the horses, doing horse stuff, and that's it.
Favorite photo shoot this year? Because we wrap up 2023.
This year, I'd probably say I did my buddy's bike about a little bit past summer. His name is Jose Cornejo. Mm-hmm. He's this all chrome FXR. It's a all chromed FXR that he built for, and then Nick FXR Bizarre. He reached out. Yeah, he reached out to me that we can get some shots of that. And I mean, he went out. He goes by CJ94, CJ_94 on Instagram. He's a good buddy. I mean, we haven't been hanging out much lately, but he works a lot, and he has his own shop now too. And I mean, I've been meaning to go there more and more, but so busy with stuff. But I love that dude too. He's a good dude. But he built this. It's an all chrome chassis. I mean, he went all chrome. I mean, ARP bolt, everything, like even underneath on the frame. I mean, he went to
very meticulous.
And
ARP bolts are expensive.
Yeah, he went. It's to the point where he says he'll never do that again. Like he says, it's after thing. He's like, he scratches his head, little by little, with all the money that adds up fast. But it's a beautiful bike, and we shot that near his house in Pico. He lives in Pico Rivera, and then we went up to the dam over there, got some really nice stuff. That was a fun shoot. Of course, all the stuff I do. Did also too one weekend. I just Espinosa's had an event up in NorCal, in San Jose. So I hopped on my literally a few days before. I said, you know what, I'm gonna go up there and help you guys. And he's all like, all right, cool. So I hopped on my Road Glide. That
is that the go-to travel bike now, the Road Glide?
Yeah, the Road Glide's pretty much been.
But no tour pack, just the bags.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough.
I mean, I have a tour pack for it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have a tour pack, but I have a big backrest with the luggage rack.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have my XFL 80 if I have to, and then I haven't done trips far enough yet to where I have to. If I'll do 3-4 day trips, but nothing. It's the same thing because I got to take care of business here, but work and stuff, and like I said, my folks are always traveling, so we have animals we have to take care of, the horses, and I mean, so I try to do 3-4 day trips, few maybe a couple states out, where I can maybe a 2-day ride out, 2-day ride back, maybe, and I mainly, I mean, I've done all the way, say maybe closer to Utah, but Nevada, Arizona, up NorCal, Oregon.
Okay, wow, you go up to Oregon on the bike.
And then what's it called? Yeah, just stuff. Yeah, but just and I've done it on all the bikes, not just on one certain bike. I've done it because my Road Glide's my most recent bike. So I mean, before my travel bike was, believe it or not, was my RT. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what that has a tour pack and it has saddlebags, and I rode that thing everywhere. Yep. I mean, in 2 years.
It's kind of built for it. Does it get okay fuel economy?
Actually, it gets crap.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, learning having an FXR, you gotta learn a lot of mechanic stuff. Yeah. So I've learned to mess with the carburetor. I mean, I put a Mikuni on it. It's got a like the one my RT has a built. It's a fully built 80-inch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nothing. It's not. I mean, it's a hot rodded 80-inch, but it's not. It's not making power.
It's gone through though.
Yeah, it's completely. But I mean, it makes good power, but it's not making like what modern bikes are making.
No.
I mean, we had it dynoed and it was like, I think like 85 horsepower, but it did crack 100 pounds of torque.
That's good.
So which is, I mean, it's no slouch. I don't complain about the power. I mean, this one has a V111 in it from SNS Cycles with the 6-speed, and this thing's a hot rod. This thing's fast. And then
really,
yeah, and then we also put a bigger cam in it from what came, and we put the next size. So this one had because this is an EPA V111, so we ended up putting the one from the standard 111. So it's a 585. So it had a 543, and then we put a 585 cam in it, and then I did all the tuning myself on the carb, and the thing it's a ripper.
Hell
it's
yeah,
fast. And this one gets really good mileage because same thing when you're just cruising 80, you don't really have the throttle cracked. I mean, this one I'll get about 160 to a tank, 170, about 160ish.
That's good.
But,
What's your tank?
It's a 4-gallon.
Okay.
And then, my RT, I can get, if I'm really loaded down and traveling, I'll get like 100 to a tank.
So yeah, good deal less.
Yeah, but let's say if I'm not too loaded down and I'm cruising, I'll get about 130. But you're like, because you're on it quite a little bit more, especially once you start going into the elevation with these carb bikes.
It starts struggling.
It starts to eat more gas. I mean, it's not like a fuel injected bike.
Yeah.
So it's this one's got it's a 111, and then the RT's the 80-inch. Of course, Rogue Glide. It's a 107, but did the whole cam chest, bigger cam, dyno tune, bigger injectors.
You said the Dyna's 107.
The Dyna, that's also a built 107.
What is that like the go-to kit? Because I hear a lot of people have like, mine's a 107, mine's a 107. I hear that number a lot. I don't know whose kit that is or why that's the magic number. Or...
Well, you can do a 107 on stock cylinders. That's the biggest you can go.
Okay.
You can bore it out. You can go a little bit bigger, but it's not.
Start to stress things.
Your spigot will be so thin that you'll break your spigot. Well, it's the bottom of the skirt of the. The bottom part of the skirt of the sleeve. So that's why I said 107. So on my Dyna, like in 2019, that went through it blew up like 3 times on me that year. It was to the point where I was like, after I did the 107, if that were to mess up, I said I'm lighting that thing on fire. I mean, I love that bike, but it's so it was a 96-inch with cams. It had 543 fueling cams in it, dyno tuned for a long time. It was a 2010, and had it for years like that. Ran great, made like 95 horsepower, 95 torque. And it was with just the cams, which is it's a good round number.
Yeah.
And then once the miles going, it started burning oil just like anything else. I've had it. It was time for to tear it apart. So we took it down, and then I bought the SNS 110 kit, and I figured that costs as much as if I just wanted to rebuild the stock motor, they cost the same.
Yes, well, I'm in there.
Might as well. And then check the crank run out. It was actually pretty decent. It was like 3,000ths out, and then so we put the kit on, and it was running good for about 1,000 miles, and it started being a little funny after 1,000, and about 3,000 miles, it was we were running up the 241, going up the hill with a couple buddies. One of my buddies had a built 117, and he wanted to just and we were going. I mean, we were moving.
Oh, you're trying to play catch up. Okay.
No, yeah, we were moving, and all of a sudden I hear click, 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 click. I'm like, oh crap. I mean, we were in a 6th gear, and we're gonna have it like at 5,000 RPMs. I mean, and going uphill.
Yep. And
then we rode all. We made it to Cook's Corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then something's weird. He's a mechanic, so he heard this is bad. Like, we got to get it back. So we get it back to the shop, and
You rode it back to the shop?
Yeah, I mean, at this point,
yeah.
it's already
Damage is done.
whatever damage is done, so whatever.
You're like me. You're like, oh, can't get any worse. I'll just keep riding it.
So we rode it back. I mean, it didn't. It kept clicking, but it didn't sound worse. I mean,
Okay.
but it was running fine. It was. You heard this this loud clicking sound inside coming from the engine. Tore it all down, and yeah, piston slap. So what I found out about the 110 kits is that the piston skirts are really, really short, like a lot shorter than what a standard piston is. That's how they're able to fit the 110. So what happens is doesn't really have a lot of side rigidity. So like when you're really on it, they can flex, and then if the second it taps the.
Well, that's kind of an issue, and they sell it like that.
Well, that's the thing. It's a lot of people don't have issues like that, but we're also.
But when you're hounding on it.
Yeah, we're super hounding on it.
Yeah.
But luckily, they warranted it, and they sent me a 106. So that's a better kit because it's better. It's like you're down a little bit on power, but you make up a lot more in reliability.
Reliability is everything. I rode my Dyno 103 pretty much stock for the life of it, besides an intake and an exhaust. I'm kind of happy I did because I got 80,000 miles out of it. Before
I made it. Mine with the cams, I had it. I did the cams at like 10,000 miles, and I made it to like 36,000.
You put on 36 after the cams were installed?
No. I put the cams at about. No, it was like 9,000 miles. I did the cams.
Okay.
And then I made it to 36,000 miles.
Got it.
No, it was like 37 actually.
And then started
before it started burning oil.
Yeah.
And then from 36 to like 42 or like 44, it was just like one thing after another. So then we did the 106, same thing. Just check the crank run out, and still, I mean, it wasn't that long, so we it was fine. And then we put the 106 on, and I go break it in, same thing. Starts running good, and a few thousand miles. That one I got like maybe another 4 out of it, but it was running good. And then all of a sudden, I started hearing knocking. But this time that was at the bottom of the motor.
Oh no!
And then I'm all like, so I was thinking it was coming from the primary. I changed the entire primary, new compensator, new clutch basket. Which the clutch basket needed a new one anyways. Mm-hmm. So I just changed everything in the primary. Everything is new in the primary, and it was no matter what, it was just you could hear it clicking like really bad. And then one day I said I just bought a solid compensator.
Okay.
Just
what does that mean?
So on a Harley you have a compensator, right? So it's like so you have one side, and they rotate back and forth, so it soaks up the shock of the motor.
Okay.
And then so when you go, then it goes together with the sprocket that's right there. So it's like an assembly, the compensator. They call it a compensator sprocket.
Okay.
So then it sits on like teeth, so it just allows the motor to have that extra cushion.
Okay.
So that way,
what area of the motor is this?
At the very front of the motor. Every Harley has one. It's the very front, the very 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 front, and that's where it attaches to. It goes your stator, then your rotor, which is the cover, the magnetic cover. Yep. Then on in front of that, then that's where your compensator goes. So that's what drives then that attaches to your clutch.
Yes. Yeah, I had to change out my stator once, and I don't mess around with that side of the motor. I mess around with the clutch a lot.
Yeah. So then I took all that. So I took it out again, and I said I put a solid, because then I'm like, you know what? If it's good, then at that point I was starting to think, man, watch it be the crank now. So then I said I put the solid in there because I wanted to see what it would do. The second I turned it on with the solid, because now it has no cushion, all I hear is like clack, 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 clack. I'm like, there it is, it's crank. After maybe like 4,000 miles. And then so we tore it all apart again. Well, this time I took it to Steve's engine guy at the time, because at that point, it's just more like he has a full machine shop and everything.
Yep.
And he's all like, he took care of me. That's Mikey over at King Cycles in Anaheim.
Okay.
And this guy's got like the magic. He has an engine room and everything where he keeps it really clean. Like he has a formula for for every size bike, and his thing is engines. He does it all, but his thing is.
But that's his niche. That's good.
Engines. So I went
the
there.
Engine doctor.
Yeah, he told me go there. I'll talk to him and he'll take care of you. And I mean, it was still quite a bit of money, but then he built me a fully built 107. Sent the crank out to Revolution Performance, and they it's the same thing as Dark Horse. They do the same stuff.
Okay.
They they balanced it, welded it. They put actually Creo rods. HB rods in it, and he fully built the motor, redid the heads, port polished everything.
Oh, nice! He port and polished.
And then he bigger valves, and then he port matched everything, so the whole engine's completely blueprinted. Like I can only run the cam that I have in my bike. If I run anything else, it'll mess up the engine, because he changed the springs to run on that cam, for that way it could actually be more reliable.
There you go.
So he says because well, from what I was told, that the stock springs are good up for 600 lift, and then after that, you'd have to go with, if you want to go even with the bigger cam, you'd have to run a tighter spring. But it's more horsepower, but with the tighter spring means you have your valves slapping harder. So I didn't want to go that way, so I stuck with my 585 cam. He says out of the entire thing, that was the only thing that survived.
Hilarious. So at this point, you pretty much got a whole new motor.
Yeah, so that's the only thing that survived. So we had to redo everything, since the cam wasn't even that old. The cam was only had a couple thousand miles on it, and so we made everything. He did everything to that cam. So he actually put lighter springs that's even in the factory. Well, from when that's what he told me. So then he's like, your valve seats will last longer because you technically have a lighter spring. So it's not slapping as hard. It's like you give up some power, but you get more reliability.
Dude, that's all I want.
But
I want to travel,
Yeah,
I'm not
but
trying to get stuck.
That bike's fast for being what it is. I mean, it made like.
So which one's the slowest bike? The RT?
Yeah, the RT's by
the Cruiser.
Yeah, but still, even then, it's not. I mean, it's. I have buddies that have 103s that
for a bike that's probably 30 years old now.
Yeah, but the RT, like I have buddies that have like a 103, like a dyno, like a stock dyno with like an intake, and a dyno tune, and my RT has no problem keeping up with them. Like I'll sit there and
kind of makes you think. What were we buying today?
Yeah. So it's like, but I mean, you're talking about a fully built
Brand new
80 to versus a stock 103.
Yep.
But I mean, I'll be in fifth gear and 80 miles an hour, and I give it a handful, and it'll go past 100 real quick. That one tops out like 110. I mean, it'll get to 120, but it's like at 110 it starts to, like it gets to 110 real quick, and then it just starts to creep up to 120.
Well, that's pretty damn good, because that's pretty much what my old dyno was. It was
so
bone
it's
stock 103 with a tune and an intake, and same thing, about 110. About 110, and then creep up to like
that's what I'm saying. That's what I've always people. How much power does it make? I'm like, well, it makes what a 103 makes that's been dyno tuned, a stock one.
Okay.
With an intake, exhaust, and like a.
Well, I think that's fine for most guys, especially you're just going out in the freeway, go to the next spot with your buddies.
Yeah.
Maybe gun it on the straightaway.
Yeah, it's plenty fast, and so I mean, I've had that thing, like I said, up and down the West Coast, and I mean, at the end of the day, when you're cruising on the freeway, you're going 85, 90 anyways. You're not going really much faster than that. And if I have to, like I said, it'll snap that speedo up to about 110. Like I'll be a fifth gear and I can dig into it, and it'll raise it up to past 100 pretty quick. But that's just where it's at. I'm happy with it. Like it's a good running. It's all original everything except I've had to replace the transmission in there, but I still kept the old style transmission.
Yeah.
But I got to shout out my good friend Zach, FXR Forever. When he saw that my transmission busted, he gave me one of his old ones.
Oh wow.
It's because everybody upgrades those old transmissions to the new style, but because people are always afraid of the old. There's an old thing. It's only a keyway that holds the whole transmission together.
Interesting.
But
on the old Evo.
On the Evo. But here's the thing. Up until from the late 80s all the way to the original, that's how they all ran. Mm-hmm. And people have gotten hundreds of thousands of miles.
Yeah, just fine.
Just fine. And here's the thing. And then there's people out there that are actually drag racing their bikes with those style. But it's just, compared to the spline shaft versus the keyway. I mean, spline, you have all these splines that are much stronger, of course, but there's this stigma with those old transmissions that they'll break.
Superstition.
But I mean, like I said, I've had that bike up and down the West Coast. I'm not out there beating on it either.
Yep.
I'm riding it like normal. I'll sit there and quick shift it sometimes, and it shifts no problem. But as long as it's in there tight, the keyway, the whole assembly is in there tight. There's really nothing to worry about.
Do you have man? I could make this podcast go for another 2 hours. Do you have like a way you organize your maintenance for your bikes? Do you have like a log book where you're like, oh, it's been this many miles on this bike? I should start checking something like.
No, not even that.
Or you just wait for stuff to pop up?
Kind of. I mean, I'm literally like, you know what? It feels like it's been a long time since I changed the oil. I should go change the oil.
Yeah, that inner gut feeling.
Yeah, an old mechanic told me this. He's like, whenever you feel you think you got to change the oil of your bike, just do it.
Yeah.
Because that's already
oil changes never hurt.
Yeah, so just do it, and that's what I've always done. Because or sometimes I'll just set the trip on the bikes. Like when I change the oil.
Good preventative maintenance.
Yeah,
change the oil.
A lot of times too, I'll like think about it, and especially with having several bikes, and I try to rotate them when I ride them, and so I don't put a lot of miles, out like because since I'm 1 week I'll ride one week I'll ride another one. The only one that really doesn't get rotated too much is the RT because that's more of the baby. That's like my baby.
Okay.
But I'd say it's between this FXR, my Dyna, and the Road Glide. But even then, the Road Glide I try to save more for big trips.
Yeah, that was fairly new, so hopefully no big issues yet.
Yeah, so I mean, I got a good deal on that bike, so I mean, it hasn't given me any issues, knock on wood. And then the only one, that's why I keep for around all this stuff, I either take this my convertible or my Dyna. Because same thing is like riding the big bagger. I can split lanes no problem on the freeway, but splitting lanes on the street, it's a pain in the butt. It's real tight, and a lot of places you can't.
Yeah.
So where these fit through. So, and it's funny because I can actually split lanes a lot better on my RT than I can on my Road Glide. I don't know what it is about it. It feels
RT is thinner frame, thinner gas tank.
Yeah, true.
Clamshells are a little bit more.
Yeah.
In the stuff.
Yeah, because I mean the Road Glide's pretty wide.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean everything's everything's great with those, and like I said, I. So
if you got an appointment downtown, you got to get somewhere in a hurry. You're fine. You're taking like.
I'm either taking this one or the Dyna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking but I love this bike. I mean, this bike I got this one from Jack Cooksey from Team Dyna 123. Mm-hmm. Good dude, solid guy, and this bike's coming from back east. And
like many.
Yeah, I think when I got it, I had a Massachusetts title.
Okay.
So he brought it from back east.
No damage from like moisture or anything.
I mean, no. I mean, if you, it's like anything else. If you take it like, I haven't done anything to it. I mean, besides, of course, the motor and all that stuff. But the tins are original to the bike, except I did change the front fender to the newer style sport fender, which is not the sport, but what's considered the Dyna FXR Sport. Like
okay, the old ones have the little crossbar.
Yeah, they have the crossbar, but I still have it though. But I mean, if you look at it, everything was fine with it. But the tank's original, and so is the rear fender. I did find the side covers. I found those at a swap.
Nice.
So that's when I put
exact
those
paint.
So those are because the only ones that had that paint, the painted ones were the FXLR. Not so. So that's the only model FXR that had painted side covers.
So that technically doesn't come with this one.
No, it had the chrome ones.
Interesting.
So I mean, and then same thing. Once I had the chrome one, once I got those, I gave my chrome ones to Steve. Like that's what I do. Like with my friends and stuff. Like if they need parts, I try. If it's something I'm really not going to use, if somebody really needs, I'll take care of them. Especially guys that help me out quite a bit.
How are the bags holding up? Do those have like an inside frame to them that keeps them all stiff and straight?
Well,
or like how are those mounted?
Well, no. Well, they have a not really a frame per se, but I mean there's a frame that goes all the way around here, and then I mean, it has the zippers. Let's see. I don't even know what I have in here. It's been a while.
Oh, so it's not entirely leather. There's
No. So
interesting.
You could see like there's a
Some stiff plastic part.
yeah, no. So on the back side, it's got that plastic, straight plastic,
And so that's what I was talking
and
about.
then it has a full metal frame that goes around the back.
But the plastic backing gives it the rigidity.
Yeah, see,
It's not
now
like a...
learning to keep a spare belt. That's the thing that broke. So I was in Nevada, well, at the FXR Jam up in Reno, and the belt busted out there.
Damn.
But same thing now, running more power, a lot more power through it. I have to vent since I vented. I wasn't venting the cover to let all the heat out, and it ate it up.
But thankfully, if you got an Allen tool and a spare belt, it's not too difficult.
Actually, no, it's pretty involved. I couldn't fix it. I had no.
Oh, it's a pain.
I didn't have a spare belt then.
Okay.
But even then, that's one of those parts that's not a Harley specific part. That comes from a certain manufacturer.
Okay, got you.
It's not like you can go to some Harley shop and hey, I need.
But if you do have the belt,
yeah,
how complicated is it?
Then I need well, kind of, because you still have to pull the clutch off.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I can.
So you got a project?
No, I can do it on the side of the road. All I need is All I need is an impact and a 30 mil.
Yep.
For the rear one.
Get the clutch off and all that.
Because once you just get it off, you can slide the other one in.
Yep.
And then you just tighten it back up. And then there's no oil in the primary, so you
don't have to worry about that.
You could just take everything out. It's just now having the belt. Because here's the thing: you can go to any shop or anywhere. You can even get an impact from a hardware store and a 30 mil and freaking return it when you're done.
Yeah, the Harbor Freight special.
Yeah, if you have to.
We would never do that though.
Yeah, of course. But then, luckily, the FXR community is the best.
Yeah.
They saw me, my buddy Tim, call him Langua, cool dude, lives in Huntington Beach. He called up his buddy. He saw me on the side of the road. He called up his buddy, and they loaded it into the back of his truck. And him and his wife, I drove home with his wife, and big dude, Argentinian, awesome dude, got a badass FXR R124. He's a heavy machine mechanic. Mm-hmm. We're chit chatting, and he's like, "We'll take you home." I'm like, "No way." He's like, "Well, you're on our way home anyways."
Oh wow!
So he's like,
so the bike got to the shop, and then you got to ride home.
No, right there from the side of the road.
Yes.
In Reno, like they picked me up, and then we went to the hotel because we're all staying at the same hotel anyways because for the FXR Jam.
Yeah. And
then the next morning, we just got up early and we drove.
Oh shit! Wow. And
then, we dropped off they even showed up to my house. We dropped off the bike, pull it off the back. And then, I don't drink, but, we have beers there, offered, they drink a few beers, met the missus and shot the shit, laughed it up for a little while. And then they went home and that was it.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's what it is. It's like the road, the old saying, the road always provides.
The road always provides.
Yeah, but that's the thing. And if you take care of people, they'll take care of you. People remember that stuff.
They sure do. I know I do when I've been in tight spots. On that note, thanks for having me out, man.
Oh, of course.
Is there anything you want to plug, or how can people find you if they want to?
Well, I mean,
photos.
My personal is my name, which is kind of hard. It's eric.ariano.00. That's my personal. I mean, I do have my visuals by Eric. That's my photography page. I don't really post that much on there. I'm mainly on my personal. Just shout out to all the people out there that take care of me. Like I said, I always people got my back. I'm always gonna have their back, and I'm very loyal. Especially like to my boy Steve, to Germ, to Justin over there with all the Till Death Cycles, Gary, Josh, Lane now, the new guy, and of course all my brothers at Espinosa's, Gil, Eric, Alex, and then even Campos. He does their all of their Alex Campos does all of their their graphics design and stuff like that. But the whole family, like I said, those are my family, and I've always I keep my circle small.
Yeah.
I try not to go too far from that, because as you get older, you learn that there's really not a lot of people. You don't have a lot of friends in this world, so you just gotta stick to your core group. And hopefully they take care of you the way you take care of them.
Hell yeah, as it should be.
Yep. Cheers, brother. Thank you for having me on.
Everybody, over. Oh.